What screams I'm poor but pretend I'm rich? My old roommate spent his entire financial aid refund on a Gucci belt because the security guard at the mall assumed he couldn't afford it. Pride is the devil. Ow. The security guard was horrible to be looking down on others. Sometimes workers at these costly stores are so stuck up for some reason. Pictures of you holding cash. I served on a federal grand jury and some of the cases we saw were bank robberies. For one of the guys they were looking for an indictment for, they showed us his Facebook profile pic of him holding a roll of cash. He was wearing the same thing he robbed a bank in. Flexing with rent money. Posting selfies posed with things that aren't yours. I know someone who keeps posting pics of her wearing wedding dresses that she isn't getting with captions like "Nope, not this one, still no." Despite the fact that she already found her dress. Does that count? Can I direct you to my ex, who used to take pics with my kind of expensive accessories that I bought for myself way before I met him? That Louis bag isn't really yours, darling. It's mine, and you just look dumb. My brother always carries a wad of cash in a money clip. He has a $100 bill on the outside, but the rest is all $1s. It's all for show. He has no money and lives with my parents. That's actually funny because wealthy people put the ones on the outside and the big bills on the inside. That also sounds like a great way to get mugged. Following/constantly posting stupid entrepreneur shit on Instagram. Posts pictures of their cubicle and grinding or "let's get this bread." The entrepreneur guy that swears all the time because he's so real, or the sales guy with the pig nose that is usually on a walk through the neighborhood? I have a relatively poor friend who doesn't have a TV or anything, but they go around in a several £100 tracksuit and wear fake diamond rings they bought on Wish, which he tells people are real. I didn't think it was possible to condense so much British chav into one comment. I was trying to figure out why a super heavy tracksuit, like a weighted vest, was a sign of wealth. Then I realized it probably referred to the currency of British pounds, not weight. I used to live in a trailer park and a surprising amount of neighbors had luxury cars, Mercedes/Lexus/BMW etc. I remember reading an article one time about a family where dad worked and mom stayed at home with their kids. Dad drove a Mercedes, mom drove a van. They lived in a nice house, but then dad lost his job and they had to downsize. They moved into a much smaller apartment to eliminate their mortgage, did something with the van BC they were still paying on it, but kept the Benz BC it was totally paid off, so I guess it made sense. The woman who wrote the article said she felt ashamed to show up for benefits in a Benz, but it wasn't how it looked. Yeah, and all of them one late payment away from repossession. Taking pictures in a fake luxury airplane. A buddy of mine went to pretty high-end clubs. There was this Instagram dude constantly shooting pictures with empty expensive bottles that either he requested at the bar, or took off the tables. I can't imagine how much of a joke your life has become at that point, lol. Any Instagram influencer, really. For the most part, if you're rich, you appreciate your privacy because your money has drawn more attention than you want. If you have to scrabble after attention, it's because people aren't already giving it to you on your own merits. Most of these are old money/new money distinctions, and this is no different, but you don't see many wealthy people plastering their private lives all over social media. Naming your children after luxury brands. Couldn't afford a car, so she named her daughter Alexis. I'll have you know Ketan Bijan von Ordermars Bentley is a very good kid. Bragging about how much money you have. Clothes and accessories with huge logos on them. Posting pictures of new items you purchased on Instagram and stuff. Especially cause the brands that actually impress rich folks are the ones the rest of us have never even heard of. The huge logo thing is funny to me. I remember when the polo shirts with the huge polo guy logo came out and thought about how tacky it looked. It used to be a nice little subtle accent on the shirt. Plenty of other brands have gone this way too, from being a nice product with a subtle or small logo that people who knew what it was would notice. Now it's about making the logo huge so that's all you see. Used to work at a 7-Eleven. Once a month for a week this guy would come in with a rented green Cadillac and a very obvious prostitute on his arm. Would flash a wad of money while in the store and make it very specific that he wants $10 on that green Cadillac right there. Co-worker told me he does it with his SSI check. Who did he think he was impressing pumping $10 worth of gas? Once a month for a week. Rental rims. There's a place in Killeen, Texas that you can rent tires from. Fucking tire rentals. I'm sure they have them elsewhere too, but still. Blew my mind. Hold up. Are you telling me people rent rims for their cars? Why in the absolute fuck would a person do that? There is a security guard that works at a popular bar/club in my city. He managed to buy an older Lambo recently. On the weekends, he will drive by the bar several times before his shift as people are lined up outside revving his engine while at the stoplight. His new thing is pulling onto the sidewalk in front of the bar, parking it, getting out, saying hi to everyone he works with, waiting for people to walk by the car so he can let them know it's his, and then leaving, again revving the engine as loud as possible on the sidewalk. He does this for about 2 hours before his shift starts at 11 or 12. If you have money and can afford nice cars, you do not need to show them off. Hold up, how does a security guard afford a Lambo? Aren't the cheapest ones still like $60K? For some reason, I find this to be really depressing. Me, telling people I own Bitcoin, but conveniently not mentioning that I only own 002 BTC. Same but 0.00054 BTC. I have 3 bitcoins and should have mined another one in the next 8 hours, in Escape from Tarkov Frown. Just saw 3 expensive looking cars with tires smoother than a beach ball. Is it poverty or is it drag radials? Hell, I just watched a big driving show on TV yesterday and there were 33 fancy cars and none of them could afford treads for their tires. People who show off stacks of cash on pictures instead of depositing it into a bank account. Drug dealers. Asking people on Facebook to get in on your Herbalife scheme, bragging about how you're going to get rich from crypto but you keep talking about a different coin every week. It blows my mind that people can't see Herbalife is a pyramid scheme. Makes me think I should just start an online course on how to sell online courses instead of being the dumbass actually doing work to survive. My cousin was talking about his investment of thousands in Dogecoin and crypto and going on about this at our aunt's funeral a few weeks back. It was just like, is this seriously the time for this? It didn't make him seem rich, just sad. The best part was that this was the same Saturday that Elon Musk went on SNL and that night Dogecoin value tanked by like 30%. An expensive, current year model car, parked in front of a low-income apartment complex. On an 80-month loan with 12% APR. I live in some cheap, crappy apartments. There's some dude whose window blinds are all messed up and broken, and the inside of his apartment is disgusting and there's crap everywhere. He drives a brand new Audi crossover and parks half in the motorcycle parking and half in the handicap parking. Bragging about wealth or high-paying jobs. Most of the rich people I've known in my life were actually quite quiet and secretive about their wealth. Some guy who keeps asking me out is exactly like this. He keeps alluding that he's rich but he's obviously not. He's a real estate agent and I'm sure he makes a good enough living, but trying to flaunt it like he doesn't is irritating. I've dated a guy, and am still friends with, whose dad owns an international company that's been exceedingly profitable. I literally wouldn't have known the extent of their wealth had I not been to his dad's house. Otherwise he's super down to earth. Bingo. My grandma is easily the richest person I know and she drives a used Toyota, lives in an old and cheap neighborhood, shops at the cheap grocery store, wears really simple clothing, and only eats out when she goes to her favorite breakfast joint where she gets the early bird special for $4.50. She definitely spends money elsewhere, taking the family on nice vacations, paying for everyone's education, donating lots of money to her favorite charities, but her day-to-day life is very simple. You'd never know how wealthy she is. I know quite a few wealthy families and they all do this. None of them give a shit about being flashy, they all care about living a normal life and only buying high-quality items. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.